All right. Welcome, Erin. How are
Hey,
you?
good. How are you?
Good. Are you working over there today or you got the day off?
Well, technically, I'm always working, but
Always.
I don't have any students right now, so it's kind of my summer break.
Oh, so tell me about that. You have students.
Yeah.
Summer.
So
I thought you
my
were, you're teaching EMT or something?
yeah, I'm a full-time educator at the Milwaukee Area Technical College, and I teach the Milwaukee Fire Department cadet class. So after they've passed EMT, they come to me, and I take them through the entire paramedic curriculum to get their paramedic license.
Oh, is that like Bud's training by any chance?
No,
Okay. So you're not that hard on them,
no, no.
but you have a stern side, I think. I mean, you can be intense. That's one thing I want to ask you about before you go. And it's a good thing as an athlete. I think would that be fair to say you're pretty, you can be pretty focused on course?
Robbie would say that I'm very rigid.
Very
So
rigid. But no, yeah, last year was it last year you were on the podium at Wisconsin? Yeah, I think so, right?
yep.
I saw you and I was crawling at mile, I don't know, 14 and you were finishing or something like that. But I thank you for helping cheer me on there.
Yeah.
But no, great job with that. And I know what rigid. Okay, so let's just go right into it. That you're an athlete and you're tough and you're strong out there. Is that your coaching style? And there's nothing wrong with it if it is. If you're going to be hard nosed, Bobby Knight type thing, or
Yeah,
are you forgiving?
that's an interesting question. My husband and I were actually having this conversation last night about, coaching styles and how do you motivate or talk to your athletes when they're struggling. And I like for people just to be straight with me, blunt, tell me when I'm doing something wrong or being stupid or whatever it is. But I don't think that all people are necessarily like that. So I wouldn't say that that's necessarily my coaching style. But if I get a read on somebody and they have a similar personality to me and they can maybe handle that type of communication style, then I definitely do that, as that's kind of my preferred communication style. But I don't think that that's necessarily how I talk to everybody.
No,
For
I don't think so. You're a
yeah.
very nice person. I just want to get that out of the way.
Thanks.
But yeah, I think there's a time and a place for that with everybody, right? You know, a little kick in the ass or, support. It all depends. And again, we're not doing this professionally. So, I mean, I just always have a hard time, telling somebody to get their ass out of bed when they've had a really rough weekend or something with a
Yeah,
family. I don't know.
for
So,
sure.
yeah. How long you been involved with C26 as an athlete?
Uh, I joined C26 back in 2019.
So it's
So,
been a minute.
yeah.
Yeah. And what do you think? Well, on the sort of parallel with that last question, what do you think? Being involved with C26, how do you think that's maybe influenced how you maybe coach?
Oh, absolutely. Um, I joined C26 not knowing a lot about the philosophy or about you and Robbie, but I think why I've stayed so long and maybe why I've been so successful with C26 is because of the philosophy, the being focused on being happy and healthy first, and then having kind of the racing or triathlon come second, I think is really important. And that's kind of how, I treat my athletes. Your other life and your family and your friends and your career probably have to come first. Otherwise, you're not going to be successful with the rest of it as well.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I think you can only force feed triathlon into your life for so long before it, you know, and it really should complement and supplement your life. And I think I've definitely seen that with you. I think you love the sport, obviously. How long
Mhm.
have you been in triathlon, doing triathlons?
I did my first triathlon in 2012.
2012, was it a full or something? You just came out of the gate?
My first triathlon was Ironman, Wisconsin, actually.
Right. Okay.
Yep.
Seems
And
like about right.
barely made the cutoff. So
Oh, really?
yeah, it was a terrible day. But I had no coach. I was undertrained. I had no idea what I was doing, but I was hooked, even though it was so hard. But I was hooked.
2012, you said?
Hmm.
Okay, so yeah, because mine was in 2013, my first one up there. And obviously, we should say that you are from Wisconsin and you are a Badger at heart. Don't
Yes.
even go to Marquette with me.
No.
Okay.
No.
So, and you live over there kind of by Milwaukee, is that right?
Yeah, just north of Milwaukee, about 20 minutes.
Okay, excellent. So you did 2012, and then you're hooked. Did you stay with it and just keep, you know?
Yeah, I took, a couple years off here and there from racing just because my career, I was living overseas for a while. I was doing some other stuff. But since then, on and off, and then the past 5 years were probably my most consistent years. I've raced almost every year except for COVID. I had a couple hip surgeries in there, but I've been coming back ever since. And I've done 8 full Ironmans in that time.
Damn.
Mhm.
That's pretty impressive. So you hip surgeries, was this Ironman induced?
Maybe not. It's
Maybe not.
wear and tear injuries. Just I had some cartilage in both my hips repaired. The labrums were torn, so they put them back together and kind of realigned my hip sockets and reshaped the bones and everything. So both were very successful. I have a great surgeon, which I'm very lucky about. But is it wear and tear from triathlon? Probably not, just from life and poor anatomy and maybe genetics. I have poor genetics.
Oh, come on. I'm not buying that.
That's what I'm going with. That's the spring.
Wow. Okay, and that surgery was when again?
I had surgery in 2021, and then I had surgery in 2022.
Okay. Now, and that's impressive. I mean, you've come back from that and obviously now on the podium at Wisconsin. And I want to say, was that what you were out for? Didn't you have a bad injury for a while?
Yeah. So the year before last, I was out. I raced Iowa and Wisconsin in 2022. And then after Wisconsin, I had hip surgery. So I was out for a little bit and then I came back and raced.
All right. So obviously you would be a good person to talk to, at least at the minimum, about coming back from injury and getting through shit like that, because that doesn't sound like some kind of minor deal.
No, I mean, it's always a process, but you have to trust and put in the work, do the PT, do the stretching, all the stuff, and kind of be really willing to accept where you are when you come back with your fitness and what you can and can't do, and be patient enough to, respect that and work your way back. And ultimately, I think if you can do that, you're going to come back faster and stronger in the long run. It just takes time.
Takes time. And obviously, no matter if it's genetics or whatever it was, obviously something was wrong with then, and I think really that's the point, right? Is that if something's out of whack and you keep doing Ironman and things like that, it's just going to get worse. So I commend you on that, because I just think the rehab and the PT and all that is so critical. I mean, I've been through different things not similar, but where I've needed PT and I've kind of been like, I'm kind of back. And then, I think you leave it half-ass and then it's not going to turn out right, but you got to be patient with that. And obviously you have patience. Although I do remember you're being a little impatient at times, because it's got to be frustrating, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm a very impatient person.
Okay.
That's like my longest life lesson, is trying to be patient, I think. So, coming back from that and keeping up with it, even still after you're healed or, you're back to racing, you really have to keep up with all the PT and all the stuff that's keeping you healthy. Because the minute you stop doing that, it's going to come back.
Yeah. I mean, I think that goes for anything from plantar fasciitis to, shin splints to
Absolutely.
Achilles, whatever. And we think we're through it, but, no. Yeah. So how did you find that discipline? You're a very disciplined person.
How did I find that?
I mean, well, you must be a very disciplined person.
Yeah, I think so in a lot of aspects. I think maybe that goes back to the way I was raised. My dad is a very disciplined person, and he kind of instilled that in me and my sister as hardworking people. And, you don't things just aren't handed out. So if you want something, you got to figure out a way to get it. And that takes hard work.
Yeah. So you're not a shortcut type of coach.
No, oh no, we got.
You got to do the work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So what are you training for now?
Well, sadly, I have a little bit of a back injury at the moment, so I'm not sure what I'm training for. I am registered for Ironman Wisconsin, but kind of depending on how the summer unfolds, I may defer or put it on hold. It's hard doing Ironmans back to back to back, year after year after year, and you're kind of in that boat. You really like to do it all the time. So I think there's something to be said for taking a break. And I'm considering that option this year, although I haven't fully committed to that.
Mm. Yeah, I am in that boat. What's wrong with your back? I mean, I swear this is a true story. I had an athlete tell me that she's got a race this week, and then over the weekend she did something like putting down her car seat or some weird thing, and it kind of messed her back up. And I was telling her all this shit. And that same day, I went on my mountain bike and I was trying to do hill repeats because I'm doing horrible hilly.
Yep.
And I strained my back, and it is absolutely
terrible,
killing me right now.
Yeah.
But is that the same type of thing, or what are you going through now?
It's unclear what it is. I've seen my hip surgeon. We thought maybe it was my SI joint. I tried a cortisone injection. It didn't work for me. I got an MRI last week, but it's still waiting to be read by the radiologist. So hopefully that will give me more information. But I have low back pain, some glute pain, and instability in there. So every step right now is painful, which is the worst because I can't even enjoy walking my dog or doing housework is kind of painful. Luckily, I can still swim and bike, so I'm still getting after those two disciplines and staying sort of motivated while I can't run, which is my true love.
Yeah,
so.
I was going to say that's your jam. That's where you came from.
Exactly. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Been doing it ever since.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think it cut out. You said you ran in college.
Yeah, I ran in college, and I've been running ever since. So it's kind of a bummer.
Mm-hmm. Where'd you go to college?
UW Stevens Point.
Ah, that's right up by me right here.
Yeah.
Kind of. And I guess they have really good cycling around there. Is that something you've heard over the years?
They probably do. I didn't do any cycling in college, but it would make sense. It's a beautiful area.
A lot of trails.
Yeah, tons of trails.
Uh-huh. Okay, so maybe Wisconsin. You're coaching. You've been coaching with us for a while now, a little while. Got some athletes going, and so just generally, what kind of philosophy are you bringing to the table, or what kind of things would you like to say maybe to a prospective athlete as to be about your personality or how you're going to go about your coaching, or your
Sure.
theories or any of that stuff?
I got into coaching, and kind of what I tell, all my new prospective athletes is, I'm here to support your journey. And I want to support you by giving you the tools that you need to succeed, but also kind of in that process, like, right, we do this because we want to complete a race or do an Ironman or whatever it is. But I think along with that process, really, it's, kind of just trying to figure out like how to be the best version of themselves along the way. And that's something that I think is really powerful and something that I love to help watch people grow and get into as, they are kind of on their triathlon journey.
Mm-hmm. And as as a coach, what are some of the things that you love, like little wins that you see from athletes that really kind of make you happy as a coach? Do you have anything on top of mind, or?
Yeah, what I like to see kind of happen is people in general, I think, are kind of unsure of themselves and their capabilities. So even in just everyday workouts or sessions, kind of going, stepping out of their box and just figuring out that maybe they're capable of a lot more than they think they are. And kind of watching that journey unfold for them, even in just the training process. It doesn't have to be necessarily in a race. And sometimes it really just takes one person to tell you that they believe in you or that you are capable of doing something for you to actually start to believe it and then succeed at whatever that may be.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree with that. I think most of us have so much more inside, you know, and it's just, I think even this process for me has proven that, and it keeps proving it. I think sometimes it takes a coach to point out because you're so deep in it that you may not even notice. But along that lines of stepping out of your comfort zone, I kind of want to go back to your first Ironman and like that had to be stepping way out of your comfort zone. And what possessed you to do so?
It was an experience, and one that I will never forget. I can remember almost all of it so vividly. In college I ran, and then I started running marathons shortly after that, and I qualified for Boston and I did all of those things, but I wanted to do something harder. And I happened to be in Madison, Wisconsin the year prior to 2012 when I did it, and I was spectating, and I was there late, and I was watching all of these midnight finishers, and just how powerful of an experience that was to watch these people complete something that, you know, maybe they never thought they could complete, or, you know, whatever the case may be. And they were so emotional and so proud of themselves. And I was like, oh, I need to experience that. That looks like magic. So I signed up, and that was way back in the day when you had to be there in person to register.
Yeah.
So I stood in line
Sure.
Yeah. So I stood in line and I registered, and, you know, my life was very chaotic back then. I was in my early 20s and things were strange, but,
let's go into that a little bit. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's a whole nother podcast. So I trained a little bit on and off, but, you know, I was young and dumb and didn't really know what I was doing. And then I ended up showing up for race day anyways, and somehow I got it done. Barely. I finished in 16 hours and 50 minutes.
Wow. So I'm that's funny because you're a marathoner, but I'm assuming the bike blew up that run.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep. I almost didn't make the bike cutoff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was, I had no idea what I was getting myself into.
Well, I guess that was a while ago, but I've seen you bike now, and you seem to have changed things up a little bit since then.
I've figured it out a little bit, at least.
Except you still get me lost on the course.
Yeah, I did do that once.
I don't know if that was true or not. I think it was this detour.
The construction. There's always construction out there.
I know. There really is. But, okay, so anything else you want to say here? We've keeping these around 20 minutes, so I think we're right about the end for this one. But I just introduce people to you and
yeah, absolutely,
processes and what's going on with you.
Yeah, I don't have anything else to add, but if you have any last minute questions, all yours.
I really don't. I could probably go on, but I don't want to open anything up right now. But we'll do more of these, and
yeah, absolutely,
in the future and all that. And I found something with this back thing that maybe I'll talk to you about after.
Okay.
Sounds okay. Good.
All right. Thanks for your time.
Well, thank you. Hang on a second, and I'll stop the recording here.
Okay.
We'll talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
Wait a minute. One more question.
Oh, got it. Yep.
Are you going to be, when am I going to see you next? At Nashville or Wisconsin?
I'll be in Wisconsin.
Yep. Wisconsin camp?
Wisconsin camp, and then either I'll be racing or spectating in September.
All right, you'll be racing. All right, I can't wait to race with you again.
Me too.
All right, I'll talk to you in a sec.